Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now live at 4 on this Tuesday. Pretty nice winter day today.
It's not too bad. It's election day today, so no problems getting to the polls.
Get out and vote. You have a few hours yet, and we're going to be cooking up some steak today.
Yes, with Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council and watching for the next batch of weather that's on deck.
Yes, it's not
never ends.
Every other day. Let's begin with the news. Here's what's making headlines today. It is spring primary election day, as we mentioned, and voters in Madison will winnow down 6 candidates running for mayor to 2. Keely Arthur is covering the voting.
Speaking of politics, Bernie Sanders makes it official. He is a candidate for President of the United States. We'll hear from him.
And the man who is currently in the White House is criticizing the state of California for its lead role in challenging his emergency declaration.
Let's take a look outside today. Nice to see the sun. Boy, you really need your windshield wiper fluid, don't you?
And your sunglasses.
Yeah.
A little frost out there this morning, but...
That's the hoarfrost. I've seen so many pretty pictures of that on Facebook today.
It's fog that freezes. Snow returns tonight. Surprise. Dana Fulton's in the backyard weather patio. We get, what, a day and a half in between?
Yeah, it's a little break. Gives you some time to warm up a bit and of course, shovel. And then the snow just comes right back in for us. We are looking at snow starting up tonight. The good news, it's not going to be until well after midnight. Downtown right now, not too bad for us overall today. Fairly cool outside. Of course, we started the day just below 0. Temperatures this afternoon in the mid-20s. Looking at our Doppler radar right now, though, things are actually pretty calm. We still have about an hour and 20 minutes of sunlight, and we're expecting plenty of sunlight for us throughout the rest of the evening. And like they said, you'll definitely need the shades if you're heading out. Again, right now we're at about 24, 27 in Janesville currently. Our wind chills, though, do put us just a little below our temperatures as far as what it does feel like outside. It is a little chilly. Now, we do have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow. The snow that'll be coming in overnight will last through much of the day on Wednesday. Anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snowfall expected for us in Madison. And there is a little bit of a chance for some freezing drizzle to mix in the afternoon as our temps are going to get just above freezing for us. So that may make things just a little slick on the roads later in the day. We'll break down some timing with that snow event coming through in just a few minutes. Right now, I want to take a look at the roads. I have traffic cam pulled up, looking at the Seminole Highway area around the Beltline. Overall, things actually moving a little slow for us on the eastbound side of the Beltline, but not seeing any major delays. Here's our speeds on the westbound side. Are looking okay. I want to bounce up and look at 90 and 94 north. There is actually something on the road. There's some debris on the road in that direction, so it's blocking the left lane, and that's just after the exit to Wisconsin 60. So that's on 90 and 94 north in Columbia County. Looking towards Sauk County, things look okay right now, and then bouncing towards the southeast corner, all looking well. Drive time should be just fine if you're getting ready to hit the road. Again, not seeing any major delays just yet. It's just a sunny sky for us this evening. Now, the commute tomorrow morning might be a little messy, might be a different story from what we're dealing with tonight, but we'll, of course, take a closer look at the timing for the snow coming through in just a few minutes.
All right, Dana, thank you.
And we have a story just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. A teacher at Beloit High School has been arrested after a report of sexual assault involving inappropriate touching of a student.
Beloit police say 53-year-old Scott Abbott of Rockford was arrested this afternoon. The district attorney is investigating the case, and we will continue to follow this developing story. Now to our top story. It's primary election day today.
The biggest race you'll see in this area is the primary for Madison mayor. Our Keely Arthur joining us live at a polling place for a closer look. Keely.
Hi there, we're at the Sequoia Library right now where polling is going pretty well. Now, this is an area that generally has very good turnout so far. 25% of registered voters in this ward have voted here today. Now, depending on where you are in the city, you might also see a race for city council on your ballot. There are 4 city alder races total on the ballot today and 3 for the Madison School Board. Now, of course, the biggest draw to the polls is the race for Madison mayor. 5 challengers trying to take down longtime mayor Paul Soglin, who's served in the role on and off, totaling 22 years. Now, looking to take over are Satya Rhodes Conway, a former alder and head of the Mayor's Innovation Project at the UW, current city alder Mo Cheeks, who also serves as a VP at a software company here, and Rod Shukla, the director of a conservation group group, River Alliance of Wisconsin. The city's race equity coordinator, Toriana Petaway, is running as a write-in candidate after falling one signature short of getting her name on the ballot. And last but not least is comedian Nick Hart, looking to become the first professional comic to lead Madison. Now the polls close at 8 tonight, and this race for mayor will dwindle down from 6 to 2. Those two with the highest votes today will then advance to the general election. That is in April, and we hope to bring you the results on News 3 Now at 10.
All right, Keely Arthur reporting live from Sequoia Library. Thank you.
Thank you, Keely. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders has made it official.
I'm Bernie Sanders. I'm running for president.
The independent senator from Vermont says his 2020 campaign for president will be a continuation of his 2016 run when he mounted a significant challenge to the Democratic establishment. The 77-year-old progressive spoke to CBS This Morning's John Dickerson.
In 2016, many of the ideas that I talked about, all of those ideas and many more, are now part of the political mainstream.
Sanders becomes the 10th candidate officially vying for the Democratic nomination. President Trump's campaign weighed in on Sanders' announcement, saying the American people will reject an agenda of sky-high tax rates, government-run health care, and coddling dictators like those in Venezuela.
Legal challenges are mounting against the president's national emergency as White House officials defend the executive action. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul, while condemning the declaration, is not saying whether he'll join a multi-state lawsuit challenging it. Natalie Brand is at the White House breaking down some of the legal challenges with an expert on constitutional law.
President Trump is defending his national emergency declaration to build a southern border wall.
I have an absolute right to call national security. We need strong borders. We have to stop drugs and crime and criminals.
But Professor Louis Michael Seidman of Georgetown University says the statistics may not be in the president's favor, as his declaration faces multiple legal challenges.
Border crossings are way down from where they were several years ago. Most of the drugs that the president worries about come through ports of entry. 16
states, including California, are suing President Trump, arguing that he does not have the constitutional authority to declare the emergency. A separate lawsuit from some members of Congress could also be coming on those same grounds.
Congress has pretty much expressly decided not to spend this money.
Much of that money will come from the Defense Department budget. Officials say DHS is already looking at construction locations.
We know there'll be a large portion of it being built in the Rio Grande Valley,
which sets up another legal battle with Texas landowners, 3 of whom have already filed suit over possible land seizures.
Those people, more clearly maybe than anyone else, have standing to object to what the president has done.
Like the president and most legal experts, Professor Seidman expects the Supreme Court will ultimately decide the issue. On Capitol Hill, Natalie Brand for News 3 Now.
And a new NPR PBS NewsHour poll shows that overall, a majority of Americans disapprove of the president's use of a national emergency to build the wall. The numbers break down pretty much along party lines, with the majority of Republicans approving the use and the majority of Democrats disapproving it.
Wisconsin has suffered its first pediatric flu death of the season. State health officials say the child is from southeastern Wisconsin and had not been vaccinated. No other details about the death have been released. The State Department of Health Services says the flu is currently in an acceleration stage, and they suggest there is still time for a vaccination to be effective.
It's been a slower start than normal, but we've seen more hospitalizations and more visits throughout the state in the last couple weeks, and we don't think we've reached our peak yet, so it's on all our minds.
Through February 9th, there had been 13 flu deaths in the state, and of those deaths, they were people 65 and older. Disability rights advocates are praising a measure at the state capitol.
It would take an offensive word out of state law. Rose Schmidt shares what the bill does and who it affects. Rose?
That's right. Now, can you believe that it's 2019 and the phrase mental retardation, we'll call it the R word, is still used in Wisconsin state law, while people in the disability community can't either. That's why Representative John Jaguar is proposing a bipartisan bill that would remove the R word from the administrative code and administrative rules. Anytime that word appears, it would be replaced with the phrase individuals with intellectual disabilities. Jaguar counted 87 times it's used in the administrative rules. He and other advocates testified in favor of the bill during a public hearing before the Senate Committee on Government Operations this afternoon.
Most people can recognize that it's been used in cruel ways against people with disabilities and even people without disabilities, and it's something that should have been jettisoned long ago. I mean, frankly, I've been in the business for 25 years. We haven't ever used that word. We call it the R word, and there's a reason.
On News 3 at 5, we'll hear from the family of Grace Ryan. You see her right here, and her dad explains why the R word is so offensive. The Senate committee will vote on the bill in the coming weeks, and in the state assembly, the bill was referred to the Committee on State Affairs, but it hasn't been scheduled for a public hearing yet, but stay tuned.
All right. Thank you, Rose.
200 people marked the 2019 Alzheimer's Advocacy Day with a group picture at the state capitol today. They're attending legislative meetings at the Capitol, pushing for continued state help. They're asking lawmakers for an expansion of the Dementia Care Specialist Program that helps individuals and their caregivers. Also asking for a renewal of the Alzheimer's Awareness Grant. Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in Wisconsin and the U.S. Well, some 200,000 people in Wisconsin struggle each year to meet survival needs like heating their homes.
And on Thursday, News 3 Now is aiming to help. We're partnering with Energy Services, Inc. for a Day of Warmth telethon. We'll take your donations in a phone bank from 4 to 6:30 p.m. during News 3 Now newscasts. And you can donate all day online to the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund. That fund helps thousands of households, including the elderly, veterans, and working families with children who often have to choose between eating or heating. This year, we'd like to enable them to help even more. Join us Thursday. Join us Thursday to share the warmth in our community.
And this winter, it's more important than ever.
That's for sure.
How cold it's been. Well, there's still more to come at 4. It's called the Internet of Things. It's the way our lives are connected online.
When we come back, our Eric Franke will show us how businesses are cashing in on the Internet of Things. That's when Live at 4 continues.
This is News 3 Now, live at 4.
Welcome back. A new study finds screen time for kids under 2 has more than doubled.
The study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics found daily screen time went from under 1.5 hours in 1997 to an average of 3 hours in 2014. TV accounted for over 2.5 hours. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends kids under 2 avoid digital media altogether.
There were some small gains on Wall Street on hopes of renewed trade talks with China. The Dow Industrials added 8 points, ending the day at 25,007. The NASDAQ Composite Index gained 14. The S&P 500 tacked on 4. Well, so much of the world around us is connected to the internet. Our smartphones, our smart homes, appliances, and much more.
Experts call that connection of physical things to the Internet of Things, IoT. And Eric Franke is here now to explain a little bit more about this idea of the Internet of Things.
I had no idea that this was a thing until I was asked to look into this a little bit. The businesses are really looking for ways to use it and be more efficient. And in addition to changing all of our lives, the Internet of Things, it also means high-paying, high-tech jobs here in Wisconsin, and state colleges are hoping to train the next generation of workers. At this Sun Prairie business,
we've arrived at an age where we're enabled to be able to do this kind of stuff.
Engineers are working to find all kinds of innovative solutions for all sorts of businesses.
We see a lot of larger, very well-established companies, in that spot of, hey, we've heard of the Internet of Things. We feel like we need to do something in the Internet of Things, but we don't really understand how that's going to affect our business.
So what is the Internet of Things?
The Internet of Things is connecting products together to add benefit to the user. So you can check on your garage door, right? If it's up or down.
You're augmenting products with software in order to add value to the end user.
The Internet of Things is basically what happens when we've got sensors that are so small that we can hardly see them, and therefore they're cheap.
Engineering physics professor Dr. Hal Evenson taught Morgan Lowry at UW-Platteville, and he recently held a curriculum workshop. The goal, to have industry tell system colleges exactly what they need from the students of the future.
To bring in people from industry and find out what kinds of things are they trying to do now. And what kinds of things are, and by extension, what kinds of things do they wish that the new engineers had? The response from industry was just overwhelming. That, yes, I want to be part of this. Count us in.
And I3 is already a part of it, with breakthrough products like these sensors that help farmers get their products to market by streamlining the collection of information about their yields right to their smartphone or tablet.
It allows you to track that grain when it comes off the field, where it came off the field. When it goes into the truck, make sure your truck's not overweight.
Their work is found in healthcare with a device to help an orthopedic surgeon monitor a patient's rehab with fewer office visits.
So basically, they can do a checkup. They can check the range of motion. They can see how the knee replacement in this case is healing.
Every project presents new challenges every day to use the Internet of Things to make a client's business run more smoothly.
It's amazing what we see here at I3. It's, every new client that we talk to, we learn something new about a different way to implement this technology.
And that technology also means a strong job outlook.
We're looking for mechanical engineers, software engineers, project managers, electronics and firmware guys. So we're growing very quickly.
Felt really dumb when I did this story. I3 has roughly doubled its number of employees since moving to that new Sun Prairie location in 2015. Another issue we didn't even discuss in this story when it comes to the Internet of Things is cybersecurity. That's a whole other area, something that also will mean jobs. It means technology developments to keep all of our information safe.
It's just going to get bigger and bigger.
It is. It's really, a simple way to put this is just all the stuff that's connected to the internet, whether it's your home, whether it's your phone, and these little sensors, they're all around us now, and you don't even see them.
Yeah.
And what is surprising is how quickly this is advancing.
It really has.
10 years ago.
The professor we interviewed said to me he hadn't even heard the term Internet of Things until 2016. Now he's teaching it.
Yeah.
He went off to a place, they taught him all about it, now he's teaching people. And it really, you talk about an area, if you have an interest in tech, jobs of the future, look into that. And Platteville has really got a great program for that, too, with him leading the way.
I had a typewriter in college.
Yeah, we've come a long way fast.
Electric.
Yeah, we used to have to make phone calls with dialing, remember that?
Called the library?
It's a long time.
Eric, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Well, later we're going to mark the passing of an iconic figure in the fashion world.
A look at the career of Karl Lagerfeld coming up after Dana's forecast.
Take a look at this. NHL commentator Pierre Maguire was almost hit with a puck as he was reporting from the bench. Take a couple more looks at this as the puck flies by. It almost hits him in the face. Look at that.
He is so lucky.
Yeah.
Why it didn't break the camera lens? I mean, it scuffed it up.
That camera guy, though, kudos to him.
I mean, that's
wild.
Go play the lottery, Pierre.
Yes, exactly.
We have a follow-up to yesterday's tease about the theme for this year's Madison Magazine's Best of issue.
So yesterday's clue was a photo of Le Tigre Lounge, which many people, of course, identified online, and there were a lot of good guesses. Iconic Madison, old school cool, nostalgic supper clubs, but all of those were incorrect. The theme for this year's readers' poll is, drum roll please,
Vintage Carnival. Now, the greatest show on earth actually has roots right here in Wisconsin. The Ringling Brothers started their circus in Baraboo in 1884, later joining with Barnum and Bailey in 1919. When a circus, a fair, or a carnival came to town, it was cause for celebration, and the magazine thinks the Best of Madison readers' polls are cause for celebration, too.
Each year, Madison Magazine reveals the best of the city has to offer as chosen by its readers. Keep an eye out for Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Blitz updates on social media happening tomorrow.
The magazine team will surprise a few of the winners in person to help them celebrate their win, and we'll show you some of those celebrations. The full list of the winners will be announced this Thursday.
And you've been to Le Tigre.
Yes, I have. And
you just got here.
We're Tiger fans, so it was
iconic.
exciting. It is. I mean, there's tiger print on the wall. There's so many things to touch and to look at. So if you're going to have a few drinks and you're one of those people that just likes to stare at things, I very much so recommend.
But no swearing.
No,
They'll kick you out.
You've got to be very careful.
No potty mouth.
No potty mouth and only cash.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You're learning all sorts of things.
I've lived here decades. I've never been to Le Tigre. We should do the show there.
Let's do that. That would be great.
We have to all wear
watching.
orange. That's how that has to go.
Put on your snow boots, though, if you're heading out.
Absolutely, especially heading into tomorrow morning. The snow's coming through overnight. It'll be starting up just around midnight and lingering through all of Wednesday. We'll take a closer look at the timing right after the break. Right now, we're looking at the calm before all of the snow really moves in for us. At least in southern Wisconsin, we're starting to see snow already in Missouri, Iowa, and central Illinois, stretching down towards southern Illinois for some areas just south of St. Louis. But again, for much of Wisconsin right now, a fairly quiet evening. Not so quiet, though, by early tomorrow morning and throughout the day for Wednesday. We will certainly be dealing with quite a bit of snow coming on through, and the concern even for some freezing drizzle mixed in the afternoon. And because of this, we do have a winter weather advisory in effect from tonight through Wednesday. The concern, of course, how the roads are going to turn out. Right now, we have high pressure, still keeping things fairly clear for much of the northern Midwest, but looking off to the plains and the Rockies, that low we are watching is now starting to shift east. It's going to be pushing a little more moisture for us throughout the Midwest as we look ahead to tomorrow. We're really expecting anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snow to roll through. So overall, the snow isn't going to arrive until early Wednesday morning. Much of Illinois already seeing it, though, by midnight. We continue to see snowfall throughout the morning, and by the afternoon it breaks apart a little bit. Throughout the afternoon we'll have some spells of light snow and flurries, but things will really taper off by Wednesday evening for us. Looking at temperatures, though, notice by Wednesday afternoon we're in the mid to low 30s, just above freezing. So the concern there, any freezing drizzle could make roads a little messier for us late in the day on Wednesday. So a closer look throughout the next several hours, things will stay quiet, but we are going to watch our cloud coverage build in later on this evening and overnight. Just after midnight, we're expecting to start to see some light snow and flurries enter into Grant County, and then that light snow continuing to move west to east until all of southern Wisconsin is dealing with snowfall early on in the day. Your Wednesday morning commute likely going to be a little messy. Just plan on a little extra time on the roads because we will be dealing with snow still falling around that time. Now, later in the afternoon, there's the snow finally starting to taper off a little bit. We see spots where we still have some lighter snow and other spots where we're just dealing with a cloudy sky. And throughout the evening, much of that will all move east, and we'll continue to watch our skies steadily clear up as we head into Thursday. Thursday, we'll get a little sun back in the forecast. Early in the morning, temperatures will be close to 20, and then throughout the afternoon, high temperatures will be near 30 degrees for us. Overall, snowfall expected to be anywhere from 1 to 3 inches towards the southeast corner of the state, 2 to 5 inches for the middle portion of the state. And then if you head northwest, then we're going to watch our totals get just a little higher. They'll be dealing with some heavier snowfall throughout the day on Wednesday. But 2 to 5 in Madison on top of what we already have. It's going to make those snowbanks, of course, just grow and grow and grow. We're expecting quite a bit of accumulation for us with that snow by the end of the day on Wednesday. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for tonight and all day on Wednesday. We also have one in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday. That's our next round coming through. Again, we're on a few-day rotation here, it seems. We get a break, and then another system comes on through. Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at the potential for some freezing rain and sleet to start on Saturday, and then changing over to snowfall and adding up some accumulation possible on Sunday. So quickly looking at that, the rain comes in early Saturday morning and doesn't start to transition over to that mix until we head into Sunday morning, and then snowfall expected to gradually taper off for us throughout the day on Sunday. We may see some ice along with that as temperatures will be close to freezing, and with that rain coming through on Saturday afternoon. Temperatures tonight will hold fairly steady. We'll be at a 17 early in the evening and then start to slowly rise into the 20s. Clouds increasing over the next few hours, and then that snow is going to develop for us early on Wednesday morning. We'll be in the mid 30s for afternoon highs. Freezing rain certainly possible, especially southeast of Madison. And that high temperature again, a little bit above average for us. And then we cool down for Thursday, but a warming trend is expected as we head into next weekend. Notice overnight temps not expected to drop too much for us for the end of the week or into the weekend. The alert day is the concern for your morning commute and later in the afternoon, where we may see a little freezing rain possible for us, especially southeast of Madison. Sun for Thursday and most of Friday. Light snow possible late Friday night and into Saturday. And then Saturday, we're looking at mostly rain and mixed precipitation, of course, later in the afternoon and evening. And that's what we would love to avoid. But those temperatures are just going to be bouncing around between 30 and 20 for us.
What a mess.
Yes, just continues and continues.
This one's heading south tomorrow.
Right.
Hopefully.
Maybe she can get out of here.
I don't know. It's going to depend on what it looks like.
Yes.
The airports are going to be tricky.
It'll be a little messy for some of the airports, of course. I'm not a pilot. I can't attest to what they're able to fly in, but if they're able to stay in front of the snow, and of course, as we talked about, if the airplanes can actually get into the airports, then things should be okay.
Fingers crossed.
Right. We'll see.
All right, thank you,
Tired
Dana.
of driving in this, I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dana, thank you. Well, the fashion world is mourning the death of Karl Lagerfeld, an iconic name in the industry for 40 years.
He died today at the age of 85. CBS's Gwen Baumgardner is in London with a look back at Lagerfeld's life.
Karl Lagerfeld conquered the catwalk for more than 5 decades with his powdered white ponytail, dark suits, and tinted glasses. He made his mark on the fashion world, serving as creative director for Chanel and Fendi. Lagerfeld's creations were showstoppers on runways and red carpets.
I never wanted a different life. I'm pretty happy with what I got.
He dressed celebrities like First Lady Melania Trump, who tweeted, "Today, the world lost a creative genius. We will miss you, Karl." The German-born designer was also an artist and photographer who spent most of his life in Paris. Just last Christmas, he lit up the Champs-Élysées, one of the final public appearances. Fans are remembering his life leaving flowers outside Chanel in Paris. This man says the world lost a creator and great innovator, a sentiment shared by celebrities around the world who are paying tribute to the fashion icon. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, London.
Lagerfeld was also an impressive linguist, switching between perfect French, English, Italian, and his native German during interviews at fashion shows.
He was something else, an icon indeed. Well, still to come at 4, that coffee maker sitting on your countertop is probably your best friend in the morning.
But maybe you need a new best friend. Consumer Reports looks at the best coffee and espresso machines. We'll have their test results when Live at 4 continues. That is a live picture on Lake Mendota. Actually, it is such a cool experience to walk across the lake this time of the year.
It's plenty safe. There's plenty of ice.
Oh, yeah. It's great to take advantage of it.
Going to Picnic Point.
Yeah, it's a cool view from that perspective, and that's a live picture this afternoon. Well, whether you like a latte, you energize with an espresso, or kickstart with a cappuccino, you want a coffee maker that can deliver.
Yeah, that's why Consumer Reports testers assessed brew time, convenience, and even owner satisfaction on dozens of single-serve and drip coffee makers. Here's Leah Linscheid.
My reason for getting out of bed.
That's how I know it's time to get up. My coffee grinder goes off at 7 a.m. every day.
An eye-opener in the morning or a pick-me-up in the afternoon. We all love our coffee.
It's just a nice way to start the day.
The experts at Consumer Reports run coffee makers through brewing performance, timing, and convenience tests, and say the good news is with a great coffee maker, you can get the caffeine you crave at home and for less money per cup. For coffee connoisseurs, you'll want to consider a drip coffee maker over single-serve or pod machines, and that's where the brew performance test comes in.
To get the most out of your coffee beans, you want a drip coffee maker that can heat the water between 195 and 205 degrees and hold it there for 5 minutes or more. If a coffee maker can't do that, chances are good you're not going to get the best tasting cup of coffee.
This $100 Cuisinart consistently tops CR's ratings, and for good reason.
In our most recent survey, Cuisinart earns CR's top rating for owner satisfaction.
For less money, you can get comparable brew performance from this $25 Hamilton Beach coffee maker. If getting that coffee fix fast is your first order of business, then a single-serve or coffee pod maker might be a better option. CR evaluates single-serve coffee makers for temperature and size consistency on individual cups of coffee, and most important, how long it takes to deliver that first cup, then for how long for a second cup. While there's no brew performance test for coffee pod makers, CR's expert taste testers weigh in on taste.
Of the nearly 40 single-serve coffee makers CR tested, none earns better than a good rating for taste, which is only mediocre.
Instead, Consumer Reports recommends taking a look at which coffee pods you might want to drink. Looking for all the bells and whistles? Well, it might cost you. This $380 DeLonghi makes espressos and has a built-in milk frother.
It's great for a crowd of coffee lovers because it delivers not only the first cup especially fast, but subsequent cups were speedy too.
It uses Nespresso's coffee capsules. For News 3 Now, this is Leah Linscheid.
And you think espresso delivers the most caffeine? CR says it depends. An ounce or one shot of espresso contains 63 milligrams of caffeine.
Now, regular coffee has about 12 milligrams per ounce. So yes, espresso does have more caffeine, except that most of us drink about 8 ounces of regular coffee in a serving. So if you drank 8 ounces of espresso, that would be 96 milligrams of caffeine.
That's a defibrillator.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That'll jolt you up. All right, well, we're cooking with Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council when we come back.
She's making heart-healthy beef recipes to celebrate February being American Heart Month. That's when Live at 4 continues. We'll be right back.
the Beltline is starting to slow down now. We're looking right at the Beltline at Seminole Highway. Notice eastbound going just a little slower. In fact, our speeds along the eastbound side, if you're near Seminole Highway right now, close to 23 miles per hour, getting a little closer to Fish Hatchery Road and John Nolan, closer to 30 miles per hour, so not a big increase in speed. And if you go towards Gammon Road, it's a little closer to 58, so speeds increased just a bit. Downtown on the Isthmus, we have some slowdowns, the usual spots. University turning into Campus Drive, also seeing just a bit of a delay there, but no accidents and no major delays. Up into Columbia and Sauk counties, all looks just fine. Same goes for Janesville and Rock County and towards Jefferson County as well. You'll definitely need the shades for the drive home and enjoy the clear roads, because that snow tomorrow might make your morning and evening commutes a little messier than what we're dealing with today. That's a quick look at your first alert traffic.
All right, thanks for the warning, Dana. Final preparations underway for this year's 91st Annual Academy Awards and Governor's Ball, the Academy's official post-Oscar celebration. The Academy held a preview event today for the ball to show off the food that'll be served along with the decorations. Master Chef Wolfgang Puck and his team are tasked with preparing the menu. That always looks like spectacular food. Speaking of spectacular food, February is American Heart Month, a time to raise awareness of the prevention of heart disease.
Enjoying lean beef can be part of a heart-healthy lifestyle, and Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council is here with some new recipes. Hi, Angie.
I don't think I'm as fancy as that.
It's probably better,
no pressure.
This is probably better food.
I have a nice hearty pot roast recipe, which, you know, you wouldn't think like your traditional grandma's made pot roast is heart healthy, but with this recipe it can be. So it's kind of different. You simmer it in a little apple cider.
A pot roast.
A chuck roast. Yeah, along with some beef broth, a little onion, garlic, you know, your traditional ingredients. Let it simmer a couple hours, and then instead of adding white potatoes, we added sweet potatoes, about 3 pounds of sweet potatoes in the last half hour. Put them in, let them steam with the pot roast, and then pull them out and mash them and use some real maple syrup as a sweetener.
Yeah, great idea.
And then a little ginger.
And then sweet potatoes are really good for you.
They are very good for you. And then you can take the drippings, the apple cider, beef broth, and those great beef chuck roast juices, and make a nice cider gravy too. Thicken it and serve that with your pot roast and your sweet potatoes.
That's from the drippings, not from the marinating.
Correct.
Okay.
So you did that all on the stovetop.
I did it on the stovetop, but of course you can make it in the crock pot or do it in the stove.
And it took you a couple hours?
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Yeah,
okay.
you want to be, you want to have a lot of time for a chuck roast. So a nice simmer, low simmer to tenderize it for 2.5 hours.
Okay, great. So what else do we have here?
So then I have sirloin tip steaks, or they might be labeled sandwich steaks in your supermarket. They're cut really thin, literally like 2 minutes. I just pan fried them. Put a little Creole seasoning on them, and then I made ahead a jambalaya rice. So I started with 3 cups of cooked brown rice, and then sauteed up some green pepper, onion, and celery. And then with a little of the Creole seasoning, and then added a can of no salt added diced tomatoes. And made that jambalaya rice, and then you can serve that with the steaks. And they literally just take a couple minutes, and you have a really easy Creole steak with jambalaya rice dinner. And these recipes are certified lean by the American Heart Association, so they will fit into a nice, healthy lifestyle. They have less than 10 grams of total fat per serving, less than 4.5 grams of saturated fat, and then less than 95 milligrams of cholesterol.
And I notice at the grocery store now, they have the label on the beef, the fat content. And
yes.
And so what's the guidelines here?
So yeah, you want to look for to be lean or extra lean, it's less than 10 grams of fat per serving. So a serving is 3 ounces. So like these sirloin tip steaks are really nice if you're watching your serving size, because that's about a 3-ounce serving. So we like to say size your palm or a smaller iPhone.
Not the Big 10.
Yeah. Right, not the 10 plus.
I'm not sure I've seen these in the store.
Yeah, you could ask for them too, and they're sirloin, so they're versatile. They're tender, they're lean, and they're economical. So we have a whole recipe collection on beeftips.com. So go to our recipe collections and look for the American Heart Association certified recipes. So we've got these there, and then a lot of other great recipes. Perfect for February Heart Month if you're thinking about it, or any time of the year, and perfect for the snowy days we have.
You want to look for these sirloin ones though, because there are other sandwich steaks that when you pan fry them, they can be a little tough.
Yeah, you could see a small, real thin cut steak, which is called eye of round. That might need a little marinating, definitely, or a real thin slice, because that is very, very lean.
Okay. So. All right, great.
Yeah.
All the recipes online?
Online.
Beeftips.com?
Yes.
I can't wait to dig in.
Yes.
So, and you said it before, I mean, like even ground ground round is as lean as ground turkey.
Definitely, ground round is as lean as ground turkey, about 7 grams of fat per serving. So you do not need to cut lean ground beef out of your diet if you're looking to eat heart healthy.
And it's Heart Healthy Month. Recipes online, as we mentioned. Angie, thanks.
Thanks, Angie. Good to see you.
See you next time. And we'll be right back with a final check your forecast.
We're over in Dana's house on the Weather Center.
Welcome to my corner. So we are talking
about
some snow.
Some snow's coming.
Yes. Now, right now, it's still quiet outside this evening. We're currently sitting at about 24 in Madison, and if we look at our high-resolution Doppler, notice Wisconsin currently fairly calm, but we have all of that snow south of us, and it is going to move in overnight. So we're looking at anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snowfall moving in for us overnight, and we may even see a little freezing drizzle mixed in with that as well, with higher totals expected northwest of Madison and lesser amounts to the southeast. That band, though, from 2 to 5 inches stretching from Platteville all the way up towards Sheboygan, Fond du Lac included with that, Juneau as well. We're really going to see this snow throughout the day on Wednesday, starting up just after midnight. We'll take a look real quick at our future track just to bring in that snow. Again, early Wednesday morning, your morning commute likely going to be just a little slick outside, and then later in the afternoon, our snow tapers off to flurries. So thankfully, or hopefully, roads start to get cleared up just a little more. So again, we do have an alert day in the forecast for tonight into tomorrow because the snow is going to be coming in for us, and it really could make commutes tomorrow messy, both in the morning and later in the day.
Okay.
Check News 3 now in the morning for probably school delays.
I would imagine so. We'll see what happens, though, overnight, what decisions they make.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dana. And coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4, we're going to reveal some of the Best of Madison Award winners with the staff from Madison Magazine.
And plogging is the new jogging. We'll find out about this Scandinavian lifestyle trend and how it's rocking cities around the world coming up tomorrow. In today's Final Touch in France, it's easier now than ever to